Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister getting ready to host her international counterparts in the Niagara region tomorrow as the G7 Foreign Ministers meeting begins. Among those participating is U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who will meet face-to-face with Minister Anand for the first time since Donald Trump ended trade talks over Ontario's anti-tariff ad. The minister joins me live now. Such a pleasure to have you in studio. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this, I believe, is your first face-to-face with Marco Rubio since trade talks ended. Do you plan on raising the issue with him?
This is a meeting of my G7 counterparts across the world, as well as outreach partners. So we're going to be hosting 15 foreign ministers in the Great White North when we're seeing the first snowfall of the year. So it's a very exciting and important time to show Canada's leadership on the world stage. Secretary Rubio and I are close colleagues and counterparts. We speak often, and we will be speaking about a range of issues in that larger group. The G7, the EU, South Africa, South Korea, Mexico, Brazil, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. These are the countries that are going to be around the table.
I understand that, and I do, take your point that this is a meeting of the G7 as a whole and some other countries as well who will be taking part. I only ask because, this is a very anxious time for a lot of Canadians, specifically those working in the steel, aluminum, and auto industries, who might be wondering, are you going to bring a message to Marco Rubio directly now that you'll have the opportunity to sit with him face to face?
It is a good point. The carriage of this file rests with Dominic LeBlanc, the Minister of Canada-U.S. Trade. On the agenda with Secretary Rubio and all the other foreign ministers are topics relating to Ukraine, the Arctic, critical minerals, and energy security. So these are issues of global reach that all countries at the table will be speaking to. So it's much more a multilateral framework as opposed to the bilateral framework. We are very much as a group leading on the world stage, and Canada, as host of the G7 this year, is playing our role on the world stage as the leader that we are. This is the final meeting that I'll be having with my counterparts after seeing them at the United Nations, seeing them in The Hague. And so it is a moment where we need to come together on a number of issues. So we are planning and drafting a joint statement that covers a number of those areas that I just mentioned, from Ukraine to the Arctic, including energy security and the issues that are really front and center in a changing geopolitical environment.
I do want to ask you about what some may perceive as a lack of leadership from Canada as president of the G7 this year, given the foreign aid cuts laid out in the budget, $2.7 billion to be cut from foreign aid. In particular, I want to ask you about the context of diversifying our trade at a time when Canada can use, all the friends it can get, including in the global south. Is this not a missed opportunity for Canada to invest in a more stabilized world, which, obviously has a direct impact on our own prosperity and stability?
Well, I appreciate the question. Canada will continue to contribute internationally in terms of development and aid. We will also make sure that we are implementing our Africa strategy. We introduced that in March of this year, and that has continued to play a role to shape our work in the development area. So rest assured, we are still going to be working front and center on the issues that matter. When I was at the United Nations, I laid out some of our core values. Those include multilateralism. Those include fighting for human rights. Those include making sure that we are supporting sustainability objectives, in addition to, as you say, diversifying trade and protecting Canadians here at home with an increased defense budget.
Can you be explicit on what our aid budget is for this year? Because that number wasn't in the budget.
The work that we're doing is across government, and aid isn't just resting with Global Affairs Canada. We have a number of ministries And all of us are contributing to the overall effort to make sure that we're more efficient in government while fulfilling our international objectives, including on the aid file, including on building relationships with new partners, new jurisdictions, making sure that at a time when countries are retreating towards unilateralism and greater protectionism, that Canada is the beacon of multilateralism, cooperation, collaboration, and that is exactly what I have continued to say as Foreign Minister. We will not retreat from playing that role internationally.
I mean, I think some people might see it as a retreat in cutting back the funding, but unfortunately, I have to leave it there, Minister. I'm out of time. I really appreciate you making the time for the conversation and coming in this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.